Ah, so I put it on cloud recording, Dinesh.
Oh,
Okay, before that, let's do Omkar 3 times and then we will continue with this discussion. Mm. Let's sit comfortably and take a normal deep breath in and breathe out. One more joyful deep breath in and breathe out with smile. Now breathe in for Omkara. Bowing down to lotus feet of Gurudev, and with blessings of Maharshi Parashara and all the sages who have given us this knowledge, let's continue our studies. So what was I talking before we did Omkara? Whenever, see, any kind of Shastra you study, that will give a lot of changes in your life. No doubt about that. Because you are activating Guru in a different way. And especially when you are studying a Shastra like Jyotishya, it is going to do so many changes in your life. Forget about remedies. Learning itself is a big remedy. I think some of you, I told you, learn it as a remedy. Because in Kali Yuga, the most powerful graha which is influencing people is Rahu. Rahu has a very strong influence in Kali Yuga. That's why, if you observe, all Rahu things are more prominent. If you observe from past 2 decades, it's happening for a long time, but it has become much more pronounced now. All this internet, now AI, alternate reality. Now, what is social media? It's an alternate reality, isn't it? If you actually see it, social media is an alternate reality altogether. You tend to think that this is the truth when it is not. Rahu gives you that, what do you call the right word? That feeling of truth. Or let's not call it hallucination, but it gives you the
illusion.
sense of illusion of truth. Correct. Illusion of truth when it is not. Now, if we go back and if we keep exploring, then the truth is different in different ways. That's not the point. With the reference point, truth keeps changing. So the universal truth is the ultimate Brahman, according to Advaita Siddhanta. Apart from that, there is now no other truth. Everything else is false. You need to understand a little bit of Vedanta if you have to study Jyotisha. Then you are always in the right direction. Otherwise, what happens? We tend to get stuck with partial knowledge because, at least that's what I feel, Vedanta has given me extreme level of what you say connection to Jyotisha in a very different way, and it gave so much of meaning to what we study and so much of logic to it. So Vedanta is very, very important according to me. If one has to study Jyotishya, one has to study the Vedanta. Without that, it's not such a great idea. Are you able to understand this? Now, according to Vedanta, have you all heard the word Vedanta? Chala, switch on your videos. Let me see more people. All beautiful faces I would like to see. What's the point of the camera if you can't switch it on? See, it's so colorful to look at. So otherwise, it's boring. So, according to Vedanta, Vedanta is a stream of understanding truth. There are many ways. Jnana Marga is some people call it. In that, Vedanta becomes very important. There are multiple streams of understanding the divine, the ultimate truth. In that, one of them is Jnana Marga. You have Bhakti Marga, where devotion becomes very important. But here, knowledge of what is true and what is not true, what is untrue, what is and what is not. To understand that is Jnana Marga. End of the day, all streams take you to the ocean of knowledge, but ocean of existence, I should use the word, but they take you in a different way. And Vedanta is the backbone of Jnana Marga. Veda Anta, the one which is in the end of Vedas, is Vedanta, which speaks about ultimate truth. And the most profound understanding of Vedanta has come from whom? Any guess?
Shankaracharya.
Yes. Advaita Siddhanta is considered to be the highest level logic can understand. And it is given by Shankaracharya. It's not that Vedanta was not there before that. Just that the way it was understood, the way Upanishads were understood, became much more clear and much more understandable after Shankara Bhagavad Pada's birth and his teachings. Now, in Vedanta, what happens? The ultimate truth is Brahman. It's not that Brahma with 4 faces, 3 faces, 4th one was removed. So, Brahma is different from Brahman. These are the 2 different words. Brahman translates to the ultimate existence, whose definition is Sat Chit Ananda. What? Ideally speaking, you cannot define it. But logically, we need to define it so that we understand it. That's where the first problem starts. For us, unless we logically understand it, we cannot define. What is definition? Definition is associated with logic. So we need to define it in the limited words. The moment you define it, it becomes finite. And how can you define something which is infinite through finite? So end of the day, even that also will not give you the perfect definition, because any kind of definition is limited to that definition. Something which is beyond definition, how will you define it? But Vedas have a way to make us understand. That's where these 3 words, Sat, Chit, and Ananda. The one which is conscious, Chit. Ananda, the one which is happy. And Sat, which is always there, which is true, and which is always there. There is no time. There is no baggage of time or space to it. There is no he or she. There is no gender. There is no identity in the first place. The one which is encompassing the whole existence and beyond, which doesn't have any name, which doesn't have any gender, but still it exists. It exists in all forms. You know, a beautiful example given by Shankar Bhagavad Pada is, if you take a cloth, cotton cloth, and you put a little water to it, how the water pervades, how the water gets into the cloth, that's how Brahman has pervaded into existence. So, Brahman is the all existing, never ending, never starting. There is no start or end to Brahman. Are you able to understand this? There is no time, nothing. But it exists. It is existing in everyone. It is existing in you. It's existing in me. It's existing in this mic. It's existing in your camera, in your laptop, everywhere. You name it, it is there. But the moment creation has to happen, this all-pervading Brahman has to take an identity. What? There should be an identity. Then only creation can happen. Correct? Without identity, what will you do? You. The existence is you. It's there. When you say Ruchira, there is an existence. You have identified. When you say Shrikant, it is identified. Dinesh, identified. Mohit, identified. There's an identification associated with each and every one. Then you become somebody who can be. Otherwise, you don't know. When you are in a group, how do you identify someone? You call the name. Yes or no? The first thing which comes is the identity. So there is an identity. And what do we associate identity with in Jyotishya?
Surya.
Surya. You see from where it starts. The entity Surya is not just the fiery ball which you see every day. It is something more than that. It comes the moment Brahman is identified as Ishvara. All pervading Brahman is identified as Ishvara. Getting my point? That's when the identity starts already. After Ishvara, there is an identity. The one which gives you or which camouflages that all pervading Brahman, which is truth, into an identity called Ishvara is Maya. This Maya is used in a very wrong understanding most of the time. Oh, everything is Maya. It is untrue. What is untrue? I'll slap you. It is pretty sure you will feel it. There are so many misconceptions about Advaita Siddhanta. So many people, this is all untrue, false, what nonsense. I can see you. Whoever says that, give them a nice slap. You'll understand what is truth or untruth. It is there. You can still feel it. So Maya is the one which is creating that sense of identity. So you cannot separate from Maya and Ishvara. They both come together. Unless Maya creates that camouflage of identity, you cannot identify Brahman as Ishvara. But if Ishvara is not there, whom will Maya identify? Means what is the identity there? So without Ishvara, Maya doesn't exist. Without Maya, Ishvara doesn't exist. So in many cultures, it is used in different ways. Shaivites use it in a different way. Vaishnavites use it in a different way. Shiva, Shakti. There you can name it whatever you want. But that's where the second level comes. Then there are many ways of understanding. A lot of people talk in a different way. But that Ishvara will give rise to the universal mind. Who came now? Chandra. Chandra's entity has already existed. Universal mind. So there's a universal mind which comes in. It's called Hiranyagarbha. You know, Hiranyagarbha is existing. There is Hiranyagarbha. And it's a position. If anybody wants you, you can all take. So just that you have to do a lot of tapas to become Hiranyagarbha. Don't ask me how much. I have no idea. But Hiranyagarbha is when, you know, for Hiranyagarbha, it is such a huge existence. You can't even imagine how big Hiranyagarbha is. Hiranyagarbha thinks once and it thinks, okay, new earth has to come. There is a new earth which has formed. So galaxy has to form, new galaxy forms. Thought immediately translates to something which is physical. So all creation happens through Hiranyagarbha. Through Hiranyagarbha, you get different forms of existence. And before that, this is called Samashti Manas. And then comes after that is Samashti Buddhi. What? Samashti means everything. It's a universal thing. We all are sitting together. This is Samashti. Vyashti means one person. I sit alone and talk to myself about astrology. Vyashti, that is one person. Samashti is we are all sitting in the group and we are speaking. Samashti Manas and Samashti Buddhi. Samashti Buddhi is what? Intellect. This is a universal intellect which is working. So Buddha has already come. Are you able to understand this? And this whole concept of creation is to be protected. That's where Mangala is. The fire, the energy required for this to happen is also through Mangala. So from creation, all these grahas are coming in. The ethereal or the spiritual wisdom for this whole creation is given by Guru. The material creation, the knowledge is given by Shukra. Okay, Earth, how much percentage of oxygen has to be there? How much percentage of carbon dioxide has to be there? Everything. How far Surya and Chandra has to be. Are you able to understand this? All this knowledge, where will it come from? Shukra gives it. It is a material knowledge in a larger sense. And the action itself of this whole thing is happening is coming through Surya. Shani. Are you able to understand this? Now, the graha which camouflages all of this is Rahu. Even it has a capacity to camouflage Maya itself. You don't even understand, forget it, very difficult to understand Maya. But then Rahu has the capacity to even camouflage Maya into something else. Like for example, creation is like this, but nobody bothers to see it. They see it through social media. That is Rahu who has brought one more layer of camouflage to it. There are already multiple layers of camouflaging. Now it is one more. Always Rahu is associated with one more. There's always something else associated, extra. And Ketu is all about reducing it by one. It's reduction, destruction. Whatever you say is truth, that is destroyed to bring it down to one more level. Getting my point? So when you are associating with the grahas, don't think in a very small sense, oh, what these grahas can do, they are just roaming around in the solar system, but itself is very huge for you to even imagine. Brihaspati is so huge, you can't even comprehend. There are so many earths coming together becomes one Brihaspati. And so many Brihaspatis will make one, Brihaspati is by the way Guru, if you don't know. And so many Brihaspatis come together, Surya becomes, what we see, Surya. But when you connect them with the energies, what they represent as Devata, they are associated from here, from creation they start. And the moment you start associating with these, you can experience that energy if you have the capacity to do so. Getting my point? But everybody has that capacity. Unfortunately, what has happened? We are so much engrossed in our day-to-day works. Ayo, today morning I have to make dosa, afternoon I have to make upama, food, sambar, rice, khichdi. Never ending. That we don't give enough importance to see beyond that. We don't have time. Have you observed how much time do you actually give to understand what creation is? Tell me, out of your 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 years of life, if somebody is there 100 years here, how many minutes have you given in your life to think, okay, am I only this body or there is something else associated with it? Have you observed? Just go back, just give it a thought. It's so funny, isn't it? Last class, I think we were telling this. Huh? We see through our eyes. Yes or no? You see through our eyes. But do we actually see through our eyes? If so, remove the eyes, keep it on the table. Ask the eyes to see it. Do you see anything? No. It is a sight associated with the eyes which is making you see. The Jnanendriya has to connect to the Karmendriya to make you feel the sight. Yes or no? Okay, I will remove this ear, keep it on the table. Okay, now you go hear something. No, not possible. Cannot hear. Something beyond physical existence is there. But how many times have you given importance to it? No, we don't. Because we are so much occupied by Rahu. Why am I giving such a big lecture to come to this point? Rahu gives you an unreal goal, first of all. He'll create an illusion of truth. And that illusion of truth will be far away from the original truth. So it's very difficult. And he'll create multiple layers of truth, or rather untrue, which you feel like it is true. It's in multiple layers. You clear one more has come up. That is the power of Rahu. And in Kali Yuga, that's what is happening. Every knowledge which is supposed to take you towards the ultimate truth is completely camouflaged by Rahu. Jyotishya, which is so powerful, has been maligned so much over thousands of years after Kali Yuga started. Jyotisha, you cannot understand anymore so well because the shlokas started vanishing. Somebody else started putting in their brains into it. If I cannot understand in a way, then I'll explain it in such a way that, it will prove something else what I think is truth. So people started adding their own rules and regulations to it. I don't know how many Parasharas wrote shlokas and added it to the original. Everybody's name is Parashara. What to do? Shankaracharya has not written most of the literature which you now see it as Shankaracharyas. Because there were so many Shankaracharyas, it all ended up to Bhagavad Pada Shankaracharya only. Everybody thinks that, it is written by. It's not about the quality of the content. It is not written by him. That's it. Anyway, coming back to our point, Rahu is that capacity to do whatever, to camouflage to cloud your logic, to cloud your manas, to make you feel that this is truth. But you cannot negate it completely because you cannot be away from it. Because the whole creation itself is layer of untrue truths. You cannot get away from it. At different reference point, it is truth. So, whenever you start reading or learn, when you start learning Jyotishya, immediately you are associating with Rahu in a very nice way. The association is happening so well with Rahu that your mind will start becoming much more calm and much more clear. And things which you used to see as, you know, uh, which used to make you feel as truth will start, falling off, and you see something else as truth. Are they able to understand this? So it's a privilege to study Jyotishya. And if at all you study it from Vedanta background, then it gives excellent, fantastic, results. No doubt about it. Now you add sadhana to it, some mantra japa to it, then, it create wonders. The beauty of it is, if you really associate with Jyotishya nicely, if you really start doing mantra japa regularly and understand Vedanta and understand Jyotishya in the right way, that is right way of learning Jyotishya, then what happens? Mind starts becoming very calm. So I think some of you have already started feeling it, doing the chantings and doing the, are you able to understand this? So it's a privilege to learn Jyotishya. So continue learning. Any questions? And last time we spoke about timeline also, right? It's very huge. I have something to show you. Let's take this. I'm not going to go through this whole Panchanga, this thing, but this is one way of Vedic time, of measuring time. 4 seconds is called 1 prana. This is a modern translation of the, olden understanding, to give you an idea. 24 seconds make it a vinadi. And 24 minutes will make it a nadi. And 48 minutes is 1 muhurta. Now, when you select a muhurta, it is supposed to be at 48 minutes. It's not a day. Whenever you ask, oh, we want to fix a muhurta, you're supposed to be fixing the right time by 48 minutes. That's called a muhurta. 3 hours is yama. It's called a yama. From here, your actual understanding has to start, how big timeline is. Ahoratra is 24 hours. It includes 1 day and 1 night. And 15 days makes it to Paksha. 30 days makes it a Masa. 6 months make it a Ayana. We spoke about it last time, correct? Uttarayana and Dakshinayana. Last class we spoke. 1 year is 1 Varsha. We know that. Now comes the most interesting part. And I would say a little more, controversial subject. How many years makes it a yuga? There are different, opinions on this. So 43,20,000 human years, forum say Mahayuga, is what is told in one format. But there are at least 20 odd types of definitions for yugas, if you don't know. We only know this. This comes in Puranas. But there are other definitions of yuga. Like, for example, 24,000 years becomes 1 Mahayuga. There's also one more calculation. 12,000 years and 12,000 years cycle. Yeah. Anyway, we'll not get into that right now. What is a Mahayuga? For now, just to understand the anonymity of your existence, we'll just go through this. 43,20,000 years is 1 Mahayuga. And 71 of this Mahayugas. Uh, can you mute yourself? Why am I not able to mute? Okay.
I
So,
muted now.
So there are 71 of these Mahayugas make a Manvantara. Now imagine, now you can do some mathematics. 71 what? Mahayugas. That is 71 into 43,20,000 years. A human can maximum live up to 100 years. According to Vimshotri Dasha, we calculate 120 years. And this is what? 43,20,000 into 71. Getting my point? That becomes your one Manvantara. And then 14 of this Manvantara becomes one Kalpa. What? Remember I spoke about Kalpa last class? One Kalpa. 2 Kalpas is Hiranyagarbha's one Ahoratra. If our Ahoratra is 1 day and 1 night, for Hiranyagarbha, now you understood that concept? Who came from Ishvara? The third stage of existence. His 1 day and 1 night are 2 Kalpas. And it is also said that Hiranyagarbha breathes once. It is day and he breathes out. It is night. That is the, for us, we breathe in a certain way, correct? We are going to have some 20,000 odd breaths per day. Hiranyagarbha takes one breath. It is so many years. The more and more subtler you become, the longer is your breath. You can even connect with this. The longer is your breath, the more subtler you are. That's why people who are meditating, their breath is very long. People who are emotionally high, their breath becomes very fast. And even the IS also is connected to number of breaths. Are you able to understand this? So imagine what is Hiranyagarbha's timeline and his power. And it is also said that when Hiranyagarbha breathes in, creation happens. When he breathes out, it is dissolved. So every 2 kalpas, a cycle of creation has happened. What? Every 2 kalpas, one creation happens. Isn't it amazing? And we have this kind of knowledge. It's not a cock and bull story. If you think that this is some random thing I'm telling, every year during Yugadi or Sankranti, depending on where you celebrate, Sankranti basically, you should take out the Panchanga. New Panchanga is issued. And you read. It says which Kalpa, which Manvantara. Are you able to understand this? Somebody can Google out now. You can see now. In which Kalpa, which Manvantara, in which Mahayuga, in which Yuga, which Pada, in which year, Varsha, which Rutu. That is how Panchanga is read. During Sankalpa in Puja, they will take this. Shweta Varaha Kalpe. They think which Kalpa it starts. Are you able to understand this? So, and Brahma Varsha is 380 Brahma Ahoratra. That we will take it up some other time. But Kalpa is this much. You understood? So here Brahma, we are using in the word in terms of Hiranyagarbha also is here. It's called Hiranyagarbha Brahma. There is Prajapati Brahma. There are multiple Brahmas, by the way. So Hiranyagarbha, if you consider him as a Brahma, then 360 of his years is his ayus. Or rather Brahma Varsha, sorry. One Brahma Varsha is 360 Ahoratra of Hiranyagarbha. We already defined, no? 2 kalpas. So 2 into 360. Oh, it becomes 1 Ahoratra anyway. So 360 Ahoratras makes it 1 Varsha. 100 Varshas like this becomes Brahma's ayus. So after that, new Hiranyagarbha will come. So that's why I told you, if you want to apply, you can apply now. So next, whenever Hiranyagarbha vacates his position, you can become one. It's a vacancy. It's available. Means not now. Somebody is already there. You got the idea? Where? So if you want to understand the timeline, how Kalpa, creation, everything happens, it's like a sinusoidal wave. How many of you have seen a sinusoidal wave in your life? You would have seen this in physics, mathematics and all. So here you see this green line and red line. When it goes up, it is creation. When it goes down, it is dissolution. Now present, you can see this Shweta Varaha Kalpa. It shows there is an arrow mark. We are here somewhere. It is going down. And then as it goes down, it starts dissolving. This is dissolution of present Kalpa. So don't worry about it right now. Ayyo, Pralaya will happen. Everybody will go off. The timeline is so long that you cannot even imagine when it's going to start. Any doubts? I just want to explain this timeline before we go further. Yes, Mohit. You're not audible. Is he audible to others or only me? You're not audible, Pa. There is some problem with your mic, I guess. Yes, you speak. No, I still can't hear you. I think there is some mic issue. Meanwhile, somebody else want to ask, still he sort out his problem. You can.
When does this timeline start, Anna?
Hello.
When does the timeline start? There is no start and there is no end to time. If you want to become more and more confused about life, I can explain you a little more.
Anna, can you give me mic, some other admin?
I can hear you, Pana Mohit. You are coughing and
great.
also talking.
Great. I was asking the mic.
So let me finish our question first.
Yes. Okay.
The question is, when does the time start? You know, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar ji explains it very nicely. Time doesn't start anywhere, doesn't stop anywhere. It is like a spherical ball, tennis ball. If you take a tennis ball and say, where does the ball start and where does it end? You cannot explain. So it's very similar to that. You cannot explain when the time starts and when it ends. Only logically you can go to a certain extent. Beyond that, you cannot go. So Kalpa is a maximum or Brahma years is maximum you can comprehend. So what is said, creation happens, there is no, that's a secret by the way. It's called secret of creation. There are 5 secrets which you cannot understand logically because it's beyond logic. Out of that, one is secret of creation. You cannot really understand when creation happened, when the original creation happened. Because every time a kalpa, how creation is happening, when dissolution happens, all these, jiva means all of us who are alive through Brahman's, existence, all of us become they go and form a small, ball of energy. They all goes and become a ball of energy and they become condensed. And when the creation happens, they all again take birth in different lokas to with the same, bank balance. Whatever karmic bank balance is, they'll take again and then come back. This will keep happening every kalpa. And the prerana to do this, why Ishvara is doing it, that is also said that it is because of this karma of people, the Ishvara gets a prerana to create. Otherwise, he will not even get a prerana to create. So this is going on and on and on. It is continuously going on and on and on. But this is to our understanding, because we always think everything is linear. Time is not linear. To understand time, you need to understand the concept that the past has already happened, but still happening. The future is going to happen, but it is still happening. Anything that is true is right now. You can, rule over it. There is no starting point, there is no ending point. Whatever your action you do right now, to again, make your brain little more messier today. So whatever you do right now is changing your past and also changing your future.
How can it change past? It's already has happened. It's past.
That is according to your reference point. It's like time is like multiple. Let's say, for example, there are some 15, 20 of us. We all stand in a line holding each other's shoulder. Like this, we hold each other's shoulder. If you move to the right, what happens to the left? You're pulling the left also, no? But if you move to the left, what happens to the right? So every time there is a movement, your left is past and right is future. You're moving the past also. So every time you move to the left, there's something moving from the right also. So time is like that. It is interconnected, it is intertwined, and it is a cycle. In a circle, if you open-ended line, if you see, it has a start and a stop. If you take a circle, you take the chakra, your car tire. There is no start, there is no end. Why do you say it started? So something moves, everything else moves because it's already moving. Very difficult to logically understand this. But it's good to think about it. So whatever you do right now is influencing your past and also influencing your future.
Anna,
Anna,
in Yog Vashisht,
Ah,
Anna, in Yog Vashishta, there are many stories. I mean, while you're talking about this, it's Yog Vashisht came to my mind that how uh, one person is there in one of the stories. It was like one person is there actually in many different lokas, same time.
yes, quite possible. For those who don't know, forget about the stories. Gurudev, people have seen 2 to 3 places at a time,
Yes, yeah.
same time. This is just for those who have faith. Otherwise, there's no point. It's documented also, it's there. When you don't want to believe, you negate everything. You can. You all
But
can
yeah,
actually. It's a
this
simple
can,
thing
yeah.
if you want to do it.
Yeah, this can be understood a little bit more logically. Like,
There is a limitation for logic, pa.
yes, yes, yes. That is for
See,
sure.
problem with logic, no. It comes after what? Samashti Manas is also over, then comes Samashti Buddhi. So anything beyond Samashti Buddhi, it cannot understand, right? Beyond Buddhi, there is no more logic working. See, that's why logic can never understand emotion. Have you seen it?
Yes.
You see somebody who is very logical and he sees somebody who is very emotional. He says, I cannot understand. Why are you so sad? Are you able to understand this? Because emotion is beyond logic. But the moment you see somebody who is very emotional, he's emotional about the logic also. Have you observed it? See, if I think something is right, I'm very emotional about it. Yes, I am right. Somebody says, hey, no, you are wrong. Immediately my emotions get hurt. But logic cannot understand emotions. That's where Buddha and Chandra's enmity and friendship comes in. Buddha doesn't really understand what is Chandra saying. Like, nonsense. What are you talking about? So Buddha doesn't like Chandra. But for Chandra, logic is part of his emotion. He likes it. You got the idea?
Yes. Yes.
That's why for Chandra, Buddha is an enemy. No, for Chandra, Buddha is a friend. But for Buddha, Chandra is an enemy. So some things you cannot understand logically. It's basically impossible. You have to logically, there is no logic there, but you have to have faith. Then only you'll understand. That is spirituality. Faith comes first, then understanding comes by its own. Because you'll experience it. Now, your name is Dr. Varun. Yeah? What do you do?
मैं भैया बेसिकली MBBS की है मैंने.
अच्छा, MBBS किया है ना आपने?
Hmm.
Yeah, very nice. So, you see on your left shoulder, here, you press, you'll have a pain now. Left, little more to the here. You press, you will have pain. Now you ask me, how do I know it? This is beyond logic. You cannot understand.
Yes. Yes.
I can
But
tell each one of
this
each and
time,
every one of you. I can tell now where and all points you have pain, which nadis you have got pain, which points you have got pain. It's quite easy. It's not that difficult. So some things are beyond logic. But what you do is definitely you can experience it. So when you do Sudarshan Kriya and when you do meditation, you experience it. When you go deep in meditation, you experience it. And once you start doing this regularly, the sadhana, then you start really feeling it. Means it's a feeling. It's you just feel it. It's this, because you cannot understand it, you can feel it. So that's why you feel like deja vu. Means sometimes you feel like, I have been in here, but I don't know what. Means you don't know. You have not gone through it. You have not seen it anywhere, but you feel it. It is just that your logic is falling off and your intuition is taking over at times. That's what happens with intuition also. All these intuition kids, what they do, they go beyond logic. Whatever I told you now is beyond logic. You cannot logically explain. How do I know? You have it. Somebody's sending some message in chat. I cannot read it. Why? Where is it? Something else comes out. Mohit, you wanted to ask something.
Yeah, I was thinking that you said everything's spherical, right? As
Yeah.
the time. So,
Yeah.
is there any calculation wherein we can say that the time repeats itself after, let us say, millions, billions, the way you told today, right?
Yes, it does
In
repeat.
Mahayuga,
There is no doubt about it. Everything you have seen is repeating and it is repeating again and again. Just that because the actions which are happening is different, it may come out to look like a different version of it. You should all read this story about Kakabhushundi. Kakabhushundi is a very, for everything you have answers. That's the beauty of Upanishads. So there is the story of Kakabhushundi where the Kakabhushundi is a crow. So it's not a normal crow. He's a crow who is enlightened. And he gets means he was a human being, but ends up being a crow. And he is one among the timeless people, means the one who doesn't have the boundary of time. This Kakabhushundi has seen many Mahabharatas and many Ramayanas with little different, results. If you get time, you go Google it out. Kakabhushundi. You will get to know. It's a beautiful, story. And there is one more, story in Mahabharata, in Ramayana, where, Hanuman is given a ring by Rama to, show it to Sita when he goes there. By mistake, it falls off. I don't know if it is there in Valmiki. I don't think it's there in Valmiki Ramayana. Some associated story it is. So it falls off. So Hanuman goes in search of it and he enters below. And he goes to the place where it is fallen. At the same place, he sees thousands of rings like that, showing that the same event has happened n number of times. So these are all the stories which are there in our, books. But you don't worry about anything. You go back in your own life. Just, let's be more practical. Means going back in thousands of years is impossible for us. Okay. We don't get authentic sources to say what happened even 100 years back. But what you can definitely do is go back in your own life and see there's a pattern which keeps repeating. If you go sit and write down all the events that has happened in your life, the starting and ending point could be little different. The way it happens could be little different, but there's a pattern to it, certain patterns to it. You would have done the same kind of mistake again and again and again and again. You would have done the same kind of action again and again and again. That never ends. All the grahas, what do you think they are doing? They're going round and round and round. They're going linearly somewhere, non-stop. Everything is happening in a very linear way, non-linear way, in a spherical. The grahas are moving in a circular way. Your time is circular or spherical, you should call it. Space is also spherical, by the way, if you don't know. As you move further, space and time becomes one and the same. You don't have any difference. Quantum physics deals with this, space and time. Any other question? I got something thought about we can change our past and future. We cannot know because everything is energy. We can change our energy. Yes. 100% you can change your energy. There's no doubt about it. But only problem is you're driven by certain energies to change the next energy. Like, for example, your previous karma is such that you don't have any faith in Jyotishya. No matter what you do, you'll not get faith on Jyotishya. Unless it is completely changed by some event. That also should be there in your previous karma. That the event has to change your. Now you are in an endless loop. You don't know where to start and where to end. That's how the problem with the time is that. But what we can definitely see is what have we got right now in this reference point. That's why Jyotisha becomes so important. Right now, at this reference point, what kind of energy? So when you are born, what was the signature of your energy? Pranic signature or prana signature or karma signature, karmic signature. That's the right word. The pranic signature is for healing. So karmic signature. What is your karmic signature? You cannot become all of a sudden, I cannot now think that, okay, I'll become the international cricketer and start playing cricket. It's impossible. I have certain direction. I cannot change that. It's like your rocket. Now you already sent it up. You cannot really change. But fortunately, we are not rockets. We are driven by divine. So you can change certain things in life. You can use the same energies in different ways. See, for it could be your prarabdha, your karma, that you have to buy carrot, you have to buy aloo, and you have to buy some onion. You already bought it. You are entering the house. If you have to change the whole karma, I have to go back and buy something else and come. That takes time. But you can definitely, what you can do, you can decide, should I make sabzi out of it? Should I make sambar out of it? Should I make something else out of it? Or be an idiot and just eat it raw? Are you able to understand this? So every time when we see the chart, what do we see? What kind of ingredients have we got? When I was born, I got something. Right now, I have got something. How do I mix these two and use it in the right way? Don't be animals and eat raw. You can cook and eat. So use your brains a little. So that's what happens in Jyotishya. Getting my point? That's the power of Jyotishya. It can tell what kind of karmic signature you have brought. How can you use it right now? Which again will create some other karmic signature, by the way. If you do something right now, something else gets created. Every action, something else is getting created. And we are all in a bubble of universe of our own. My universe is totally different from yours. What I perceive from my universe is totally different from what you are perceiving. You cannot perceive how I am perceiving. Practically impossible. No, one simple definition till now nobody is able to define. We all talk, oh wow, red, oh wow, blue, oh yellow. Now you prove whatever yellow you are seeing is the same yellow that I see. Getting my point? Namrata is wearing white. We all know a logic that it is white. But is the white that I am seeing same as the white you are seeing? You have no way to prove it. Okay, enough of, burning the mind. Any more questions you have, you can ask. I can go on like this. I have a lot of concepts like this. Yoga Vasishtha is full of this.
So Anna, these patterns are the one which bind us, right?
Yes,
That
of
we
course.
keep on going on and on in the same.
You break the pattern, you are enlightened. Over. Taking birth, go dying, again taking birth, again dying. It's also a cycle, no? How many billions of times we have taken birth and again died? And still you think you are ever alive forever. That is Rahu telling you. You ask anybody, nobody will say, I'm going to die someday. That is only during some event has happened when, that's why, attending death ceremonies is sometimes good. You go, you realize, oh, everybody will die. I will also die. That is when Smashana Vairagya comes. It is called Smashana Vairagya. You go to a crematorium to cremate somebody, then this is all life is. That's when, all this talk will come. One day you will die. One day I will also die. But the beauty of it is the fellow who is cremating people there, the one who takes the dead body and puts it into the fire, he is least bothered. He thinks that I am alive at least for next few years. That is how Rahu works. There's a camouflage. He doesn't really think that I'm going to die next day. You see the beauty of Maya? or rather I should not call it as Maya. It's more of avidya. Avidya means lack of knowledge. Vidya is knowledge. Avidya is lack of knowledge. Maya is just separating existence. That's it. Avidya is not knowing that it is Maya. So it's avidya that we think that we are going to be alive forever. But some moments will bring you back to the truth. Oh, this is what it is. If you all want to go into this realm, listen to Yoga Vasishtha of Gurudev. It is full of these.
भैया गुरुदेव भी बोले हैं क्या योग वशिष्ठ के ऊपर?
Yeah, there is talk. Gurudev's talk is there on Yoga Vasishtha. Next. Anything else? You are done for today?
Bhaiya, today's out of syllabus question. What is Mandi?
Mandi is one of those exoplanets, is what we call some calculated point, which is very similar to Shani. You can call it like that. I don't use it so regularly, but it doesn't give great results. You can understand like that. More or less like Shani. See what happens whenever people come up with things which, is little more difficult to understand, they'll add one more calculation so that they can understand it better. So like that, Mandi is an exoplanet where it is used for measuring certain things.
Now, in the current software, we get all the calculations and we get the Shadbala and all those things.
Yeah.
How, if we have to do these calculations and understand, how is it? I mean, how can we do it?
Yeah, why not? Only thing is the amount of time you have spent on studying this, you have to spend another 10 times more to understand how to calculate where is Surya. So those who want to really understand, there is Surya Siddhanta. You can take it out. First 5 shlokas, you will close the book. That's it. If you find this as more very complex, Surya Siddhanta, you take it out. It is considered to be one of the most difficult knowledge to understand. There you will get to know how to calculate the true positions, how to calculate the mean positions of the graha. That is first what they do, they calculate the position of the grahas. Where is Surya? Where is Chandra? First you calculate the mean positions, then you calculate the true positions. For that, you need to know different ayanamshas. You need to know the diameter of the graha, each graha. You need to know the distance. It is all calculated, by the way. There are formulae.
Our ancestors were so, I mean, we are getting everything ready-made actually.
Yeah. No, that's why you have Panchanga. See, ideally speaking, what the before software came into existence, astrologers used to keep a Panchanga. So every time you go, they'll take out that day's Panchanga, and when you tell your birth date, they'll take out Panchanga of that particular day and see where Surya was, where Chandra was at that time. But Panchanga will not give you every second where it was. During sunrise, where these grahas were, they will give. You have to calculate during the time, how does he move.
And now, how do we, I mean, we have read about the Rashi, the Gochara, how can we?
Nothing compared to it. How is it? So if you want to know what is Gochara, it is just let us say in your first house, you have Surya. Right now, where is Surya transiting? Is Surya a good graha for you or bad, depending on how his quality and quantity we'll calculate in our chart. If he is a negative graha, means he is giving not so great results for you because of his position or because of the avastha he is in. And if he is transiting also right now in a bad time, in a bad phase, then you will have trouble. Let us say Surya is giving trouble in somebody's chart. Let us say X. Person X's chart, Surya is giving trouble and he is very powerful. So if he is traveling, so every time he travels to some position, he will create trouble in that house. So right now, if his Surya is transiting in 7th, he may create trouble in the 7th house. Are you able to understand this? Now, let us say that Lagna is Vrishabha. Or let's take Mesha. And Surya is Ucha in Mesha. Correct? He is very powerful, let us say, in that particular chart. Now, when he goes to 7th house, he should give trouble. If he's, Papagraha, let us say he is giving some bad results. Avastha is bad. He is agitated. Let us say Shani is with him. Or somebody is there with him who is making him very agitated, all that we studied, no, crippled, all that. Let us say all of them is happening at once, then Surya is very bad. But now the point is, when he goes to 7th house, he should create a lot of trouble in 7th house associated with partners. Correct? Yes or no? Now, but that is not the same. Why? Because Surya need not be very powerful now because he has become Nicha now in transit. Same Surya who was very strong at that time is not as powerful. So he may actually not create so much trouble for the person whose Lagna is Mesha. Because Surya going to Nicha, he would have reduced that intensity. Depends on, again, present transit Shadbala, how is it? How is it the Graha? He may be very agitated in your chart, but here if he's not so agitated, then also it's okay. In transit. So the intensity, that's where the intensity of the problem comes. If your Graha is also giving you horrible results, the transit also is giving you horrible results. You put 1 + 1, 2, it will be horrible. Like I met with an accident. The Grahas involved in that are not bad for me. So I came out without much trouble. Nothing happened. But the event was there. It was bound to happen. But the event happened in such a time when both the Grahas were not going to give you trouble. Because of all the sadhana and all the faith in the divine, it was taken care that the event will happen at that particular time so that so much of trouble will not happen. If the same event happened in some other time, it would have been horrific. Same Grahas would have given more trouble. Are you able to understand this? So this is also something which happens when you do remedies. The timing of the event changes a little in such a way that the outcome will be reduced. The problem for you will be reduced. The event will happen and go off. Getting my point?
Now we have about dashas, and when does the dasha start? What is the antardasha? Then there is a something pratyantardasha also, right? So we
Dasha. Yes, you can use Dasha also. Problem with Dasha is your birth time has to be perfect. Otherwise, your Dasha will not come out very neatly. One. Your Ayanamsha also gives different Dashas at different times. So having absolute, faith on Dasha is little difficult according to me. There are people who use it very regular. Means 90% of the astrologers in India use Dasha. I use transit, Gochara.
is gochara. I mean, it is sufficient. It suffices. You don't need to
More,
go through dashas.
for me, I have got excellent results with, with Gochara. And also, I'm not of the kind of astrologer you have all got to know. I don't tell too much about future. If you would have observed, when you come to consultation, I say, hey, it's okay, don't worry, everything will be fine. So if you ask me 7 years later what will happen, I'll never tell. I say, anything can happen at that time. I am of the opinion that things can change. So whatever Dasha says also can change. Even if you get everything right and calculate Dasha, it still can change. Even that's why whenever somebody's death is calculated, they say there's a Kantaka at 74 years. If you cross it, you will stay for 83 years. After that, if you cross, you may end up staying till 94 years. They say that. Some adjustments will happen in karmic signature also. That's quite possible. So that's why I told you, whatever you do has an impact right now. You sit here in the class, you're listening to me, there's an impact. If you're not sitting in the class, you're listening to the recording, there's a different impact. What you experienced today, by listening to the recording, you'll not experience the same. The same intensity, what I told Varun, you observe your left or right shoulder, whatever, right? It will not be, you cannot experience it when you see the recording. So you're all experiencing it in a different way. Getting my point? Every moment matters and every action matters. How it matters, that depends on what you do. I didn't take divisional charts at all. I'm postponing finishing this class. We are in one timeline, which now Kalpa, Yoga, Samvatsara. Is it possible to have multiple nows? There is no multiple nows. Now is only now. But there can be multiple pasts and multiple futures. But now cannot change. Now is only now. Now, that's it. Over. Now, that's it. There's nothing else. But there could be multiple streams of future, multiple streams of past, passing through the same now. Now will not change. Now that's it. That's why Gurudev says present moment is inevitable. You cannot do anything about it. Right now, you cannot change the now. The moment you change the future stream of timeline, your past timeline has also changed. It's like this, you are somewhere here. This is now. Here, let us say my wrist is now. I am going like this. And then I change the future. Your past also changed the line. Because we are moving in a linear way for our understanding. So you're going like this, you changed. The future, past also changed. Something else happened behind. I think I should take up this class first itself. At least more number of people will be there in the class. Out of 130 members or 113 members, we only see 16, 17 people in the end. But what is it? But they're different. This is where same now doing different job work. Sorry, I didn't understand this. Can you explain it?
What I mean to say now is, Bhaiya, is there a different parallel kind of universe where you are doing something else other than
Oh,
teaching now?
absolutely. No doubt about it.
At this now, at
Yes,
this
right
very
now.
now.
Yes, very now. You may be riding a horse in some other, or rather, you may be a horse in some other timeline right now, which you don't identify yourself as. Who knows?
Anna, I'm
So it's
asking
like Loki's series.
Yeah. Loki is very rudimentary. For them, it all starts with US and ends with US. They all think Earth moves around US. The perfect example of idiot is the filmmakers of US. All aliens attack only US. Every war happens from US. It stops from US. They think, I don't know what else. There is no great, I don't have any more examples to compare them to.
No, but it is true. War starts from them only.
Right now. The other timelines are the other times when it was started somewhere else. No, see, it is the consciousness which is identifying itself as what? Right now, your consciousness is identifying with this body. If you are able to change your consciousness to identify with something else, which is almost equal to impossible, you can experience that person also. Because it's so difficult, we are so stuck with our identity, it's not that, it's easier said than done. It is very, very, leaving body consciousness is not easy. I give all this lecture, you ask me, can I leave my body consciousness? No, it's not that easy. Maybe some Mahatmas like Gurudev can do it, but apart from it's one in a zillion, not billion also. There are many versions of you who are already doing multiple things. At multiple timelines. At multiple places. But you are only you right now. I think I should stop here, otherwise I'll make you more confused. I'll give you one more last example before I can't stop. This is fun. Imagine you are not you. You are a cell inside your stomach. Your consciousness has become more, constrained, and you become a small cell inside the stomach. And there are your buddies who are all cells in that stomach. That is you, one cell in the stomach. And for you, the timeline is different. The way you see things are different. The whole universe is only that stomach. There is a 12 houses associated with that cell. There is karma, labha, vyaya for that cell. Everything in that reference point. Now you are, let us say you have named something else in the stomach. Then you have other people who are named as something in that stomach. All your body cells. But the moment a reference point of consciousness increases and you become you right now, you call yourself Swati right now. Now, what happened to all those people? Do you identify them as different? All the cells is Swati only, no? You have different cells inside. Somebody else cell you have in your stomach. So now the consciousness become bigger. The whole body is you. But the moment it starts contracting, the identification becomes much more smaller. It's how you identify and how the consciousness is. That's why you cannot relate to what Gurudev says, no matter what, very difficult, because the way he experiences existence, you cannot experience it. You would have heard many times Gurudev telling, so people ask Gurudev, how do you know that I am suffering? Or when his devotees are suffering. A very nice example he gives. There are so many hairs in your head. One hair, if you pluck, you will know or not. In the same way, each one of these hair, you can give different names. But when the consciousness is of you, they all become you only. But the moment consciousness becomes smaller, it contracts. It's a different way of reading time, reading space, everything. That's why I keep using this word reference point. Which reference point are you going to see to read the chart? That will give you that kind of result.
Anna, if we want to study how, like, suppose the Palestine and Israel war,
Hmm.
if you want to, how, what will happen, till what, like Russia, Ukraine is going on and on. So how do
You
we
have to
study
take out
about
the
this war?
charts of both the countries. When did Russia started identifying as Russia, not USSR? Because the moment Russia became Russia, there was a new identity which was taken. So Russia was born in the form. Doesn't mean that Russians were not there, but that Russia took that form when USSR was broken. Ukraine became Ukraine in that form when they broke away from Russia. So you have to see the charts of both of them. What's going to happen? Eighth house will be quite active right now. They're all full fighting. Eighth house is for that only. Out of nowhere, they'll start fighting. Everybody thinks Iran is silent now. You see in another 15, 20 days or 30 days, they cannot be quiet. Next few months, you will see a bigger war. Next few months, you will see one of the biggest earthquakes you can think of. And a huge tsunami is also expected. If it doesn't happen in next few months, it will happen in its divine's timeline. I don't know. We can see it that it can happen now. The divine may think else and it may happen next year. But within next 4 or 5 years, there is a dynamic change in the energy. There is absolutely a new set of energies which you are going to experience than what you were experiencing before. The amount of faith on God will increase drastically. The same class after 10 years, if I take, there will be at least 2,000 people sitting here in the class. Because the faith will increase so much that people want to learn. A new energy is going to come. But when that churning has to happen, a lot of destruction also will happen. So till 2030, 2032, you will see a lot of changes, lot of dissolution, lot of new things happening. But after that, it will settle down. You will experience a new world altogether. We are quite interesting that we are in that juncture where you can understand what is going on.
You know that now that we are discussing a lot of things, I want to know one thing that, our country is the one which has been, 1,000 years of this and that, so many. So,
Yeah.
and Hindus being persecuted in Bangladesh and I don't know how many countries and Afghanistan. And so, what
Yeah.
karma did Hindus do that,
They would have done something else to somebody else. That's why they are born like this in the first place.
like this means?
They would have given trouble to others in the name of Dharma to somebody else.
But Hindu is the only community suffering for 1,000 years. I mean,
Don't see that as Hindus. See, who knows? Let us say, the same Hindu was no more a Hindu before. He could have been some other, could be a Muslim or a Christian who has troubled in the name of Dharma. So to experience that, he took birth as Hindu only. See, very simple. A person commits, he does a lot of violence on women. A man does a lot of violence on women. Let us keep it like that. He has to suffer in the same quantity and quality. How much ever suffering he has created, same amount he has to go through it. to clear. That is, see, bank balance is the ledger is very clear. It cannot change. Either you go through it and finish it, or you do some remedies in the same power and intensity for it to clear. Now, if he has done so much of atrocities and he has to go through it, he will take birth as a woman. And then he has to go through all the things which he has done to that, he has done before. The same way, men and women doesn't matter. If a woman has created a lot of trouble to men, they'll go through the same thing. We feel right now, because our point of reference, we only see, ayo, papa. But if you know what they have done in their previous janma, you will say, it's okay, they deserve it.
That is injustice to give one janma's punishment in another janma when you don't have a clue why you are being punished. That is wrong, no?
You only did it, no? Who is giving? You only decided to do something, you are only experiencing. This injustice is when somebody else is sitting and doing it for you. There is nobody sitting and doing anything for you. You did something, you are experiencing it. It's like, hey, it is such an injustice that I ate so much of aloo bun today and I'm having constipation tomorrow morning. You should have given constipation immediately when I ate aloo bun. No, that's how the logic is. It doesn't work like that. It takes time to mature, no? See, there's a timeline for maturity of your karma. There is a seed you have sown. It has to grow into something, no? Depending on the nature of karma, it will take some time to grow. The problem with karma is, you will not sow one seed. It's a big forest what you have. Are you able to understand? Just take up your own, childhood. Right from being a bus driver to police to rowdy to everybody you wanted to be. How many seeds you have sown? But thing is, you didn't act upon it because it was in a child. A child will not act upon anything. It just says something. So every thought is a seed you have sown, but you need not water it. And those which you have watered and nurtured, it will grow into something. Once it has already grown into a tree, it will give you the same result. It cannot give something else. You have sown a mango tree and expecting some apples out of it, it won't come. Now, what happens most of the time, we have sown a mango tree, we want apple. Then what happens? An apple seed is sown. Now, it will take time for that to grow into an apple tree and give you apple. Yes or no? But we are so impatient. We keep telling, oh, I'm only getting mango, I'm only getting mango. Arey bhai. There's a maturity time for everything, because that also depends on the intensity of your action and your intention. How strongly you want to be, how strong you want to become a Miss India. Getting my point? Really? Oh, yes. How much? That's what I was telling you. If I right now decide that I'll become a footballer at my age and my physical body, I cannot even play with the next street, boys or even girls for that matter. What will I become a footballer? Not possible, because right now it doesn't, approve, no. Now, if I want to do it, I have to sow a seed. If I sow a seed now, it will take a long, okay, this janma, it's not possible. I keep giving example in, I think we are going to organize this. Rather, you are all supposed to organize this. One day program. So discuss in the group. We'll have that one day program. Aligning with grahas. So I give this example all the time. One fine morning, let us say Ram here. Chanukya Rampa. Chanukya, na? My eyes are not become very blurred. So Ram decides, I want to become Miss World. Now that's a very complicated request. First of all, universe job is only to say yes. You say, I want to become a killer. Universe say, yes, yes, do it. I want to become a rapist. Yes, do it. I want to become a guru. Yes, do it. Universe is only there to say yes. There is nothing else for universe. Universe doesn't have anything. There's no in universe. Problem is when. Now Ram says, I will become Miss Universe right now. That's a problem. Universe says, Are by this Janma not possible. He has to change his gender. So it is not possible. I don't know. Nowadays anything can happen. But for now it is not possible. So next what? Okay, next Janma I will allot Miss Universe. Now there is a time where he can become, means there is an age. At 80 years, he cannot become a Miss Universe. So it has to be at somewhere around 18 to 25 or whatever. That timeline only he has to become. But problem is there are so many others who are also asking to become Miss Universe. Now, how do you allot it? You have to allot, no, years. Okay, next year somebody. For next thousands of years, it has to allot. Who is going to become? How universe will allot? It will see how much intensity. Getting my point? Now, Swati has more intensity to become Miss Universe than Ram. The priority will go to Swati. Okay, you will become first Miss Universe. After that, Ram will become. Getting my point? Now, it has to be in such a way that whomever they are born as, their mother, father, their brothers, if there are any, also need to have that karma of being brother or a mother of a Miss Universe. All that has to come together. You see how many complications are there? Now you started, one more example for you, Swati. Let us say you started learning guitar. There are a lot of people who want to learn guitar. You go 80% of the houses will have one acoustic guitar lying around without being played. And no strings in it. Because they see someone playing in the TV guitar, I want to learn now. 2 days, fingers start hurting and they'll stop. Now what happened? You sowed a seed of learning guitar, but you didn't nurture it. No, it doesn't happen like that. Like, for example, I started playing keyboard when I was young. I nurtured it and nurtured it and nurtured it so much that I started playing music professionally. So if you nurture it, it will give results. How much intensity are you nurturing it? It will give that fast results. Just because I learned a certain amount of Jyotisha in 2 months, you cannot do the same. Maybe you can do faster, but do you have that kind of intensity to do it? Can you stop eating 3 times a day and only study? Are you able to understand this? So that's how it is defined. So what happens? Some karmas, the maturity time goes beyond your lifetime. It cannot be given result. Getting my point?
Anna, in the Avastha part, the last part of the Avastha, there are certain aspects that you told, like conjoined by sun and aspected by the malefics. So these two conditions have to come together to
Yes,
give
it
the
has to come
result.
together. That
Okay.
avastha, it is together.
Okay, same with the fifth house, that it has to be joined by all these 4 planets like Surya, Mangala, Shani, Rahu, and Ketu. Any one of them in the fifth house will not give that result, right?
No. That avastha will not be there. That's it. Result will be there. That avastha is not there.
That avastha is not there. Yes. Also, Bhaiya, if a planet is in enemy house, yes, but still it is very powerful. The Shadbala is showing that it has a very good strength in it. So, will that planet be able to give results? Or if that planet is having a drishti on, like if Mangal is in an enemy house, but still very powerful. So the fourth drishti, the eighth drishti, will those drishtis work, or will the planet will still be able to give results as well?
No,
Or it is
depends on
there?
how powerful. See, the flavor will always be there. See, you are asking now, I am going to make a veg biryani. You are asking if at all, the spice is a little more. Will that be working or will salt be working? It is not this or that. You have all the flavors in the biryani. If you put extra chili, it will be dominant of spice. Doesn't mean that other tastes are not there.
So it means that the Mars will be acting agitatingly.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Okay.
See, that's why some people are very angry, but at the same time, they do work also. They're efficient. Some people are very angry and they cannot do anything. And some people are very angry, they commit a murder and go to jail. Are you able to see the difference? Why? Because there are multiple energies working. There are other grahas which are impacting. So both are there.
Also, we have
Earthquake
this one thing that these two kinds of avastha, hungry and thirsty.
yeah.
Yes. So how do they actually manifest? Like how
See,
can
when
we
you are
see?
hungry, how do you feel?
I feel
Can
like
you
it is
take any
more.
decision? All you think about is what? Of eating, right? So when a graha is hungry, it is all about giving some result. It is not about specifically very, focused, and there is no, what do you say? You cannot do any other job, can you? See, the point is when you are hungry, until you are fed, you cannot do anything. Correct? In that state, the graha is in. So very difficult to give results. Or even if it is working, do horrible stuff. So you are hungry at work. What do? You goof up the work what you are doing because you are hungry. When somebody scolds you, I'm little hungry, I will have food and come, then later we'll see. The moment you have food, you are okay. Then you can do the same job properly. It's in that state. Same with thirst. But thirst is little different. You can go a little further with thirst. But it will give bad results later. All through your young age, you have not had water properly. You cross 40 years, you will see what happens. It may not give immediate results, but when you become very thirsty, you have to have it. It is more than food. You need to drink. Madhu Krishna, earthquake and tsunami in Japan. Yeah, most probably in Japan. And also some big water-related problems I see happening in US coasts also. Any remedy to lower the logical mind and turn it into intuition fully? Fully, yeah. There is no fully. Don't think that's it. Just don't think. Read Vishnu Sahasranam if you want to use logic better. Vishnu is the Adipati for Buddha. Buddha is for intellect. Hey, anyway, it's time, pa. I'm going to get scoldings from all the organizers. They'll say, you all go. Dinesha will be scolding. I have been listening to all this for so many classes.
No, Anna.
Dinesha has been sitting in the class, repeated this how many times, pa?
7th time, Anna.
He's sitting in the class 7th time in basics. He sees chart of others, but still he sits in the class. But one interesting thing I'm telling you, the beauty of it is every time I take the next batch, there is something else which comes out, which I have not spoken it in the previous class. I don't know how or why. That's the Rahu working.
Anna, I attended the previous class. I thought that already done once. But when I thought I'll make my daughter sit. But when I attended, no, I thought that it is the first time something, even I understand maybe only 1% of
Yeah.
astrology, but I thought that first time started understanding something.
You sit some more time, you'll get more, dimensions open up. That's the beauty of it. We speak. See, that's why I told you, this is not like any other subject. It's not like you take out 1 + 1 is 2. You take out maths and you can learn it and you don't need to learn 1 + 1 again. The more and more you probe the grahas, the more and more you are going to learn about them. So you start from the same thing. I'm telling you, I also feel astonished. I have spoken about the same subject n number of times. Surya, Chandra, Manga. I don't get bored at all. Even now, I can again repeat it every day for next 100 days. Because we are talking about something which is beyond our understanding, and every time you speak, you'll get to know the new dimension of them. And the more you learn about them, the more you connect with them, the more their blessings are for you. That's the beauty of it. So do it. And also, Namrata is here. So what you see, Namrata there, you show your hand, ma. Say hello. So Namrata is compiling some of the experiences people have had. So you can message her those. Put a message, ma, today in the group.
Yes,
Huh?
sir.
Jyotishya, how it has been able to change you or your way of living or whatever it has done. You just share that with her. She's doing some compilation and writing and all on that. So all of you can share it. Who knows, tomorrow Namrata may write a novel itself on it. Okay. And also we'll have 1 day session. I think before that we are going to close this batch. So next class I'm going to talk about divisional charts. I told the same thing.
I know few people have asked for Panchanga, Anna.
Panchanga we spoke. We are not going to do in detail about that. We'll take a separate class for that. Now what we are going to do, I think next class or maximum 2 classes now. We'll take up divisional chart and then we'll close this batch. But we'll start chart reading classes. That's where we'll take up all these questions. We'll take up the chart, we'll read it. So all that you have learned here, you can apply it there. So 1 day every week, we'll have a chart reading class. Done?
Anna, can we learn how to read the world events, what is happening?
Yeah. On chart reading class, we'll take up everybody's chart. You tell the chart, I will take it up. We can take Donald Trump's chart also, if you want to have a good laugh. Yes, ma, Swati.
But yeah, one thing I can't comprehend. Now it is the same India, same Bharat that once upon a time in Krishna Deva Raya, we used to sell diamonds on the street. Just by changing the date of registration, how can the whole country come under some other country's rule and things like that? How can just that one date of paper signing change the entire future of a country in a large geographic place?
It's all about identification. See, now you are identifying yourself as a student and you are asking this question. Correct? Now, let us say immediately, right now, you don't have to do anything. You just think now that, no, I'm not a student anymore, I'm a teacher. Your identification changed from student to a teacher. Now your whole dimension changed now, isn't it? The way you do things, the way you approach this class, the way everything changes, yes or no? Let us say, for example, my mentor, Swamiji, comes here all of a sudden. Then what happens? I will immediately change myself from a teacher to a student. I'll sit like this, irrespective of what he speaks. Then what happens now? My identity changed to a student. So now I am no more thinking about what I should talk next, what I should, if they ask a question. If you ask a question, I'm least bothered to answer because I think, Swamiji will answer. Why should I talk? You see, the moment your identity changes, what happens to you? Your whole way of looking things change. So it's not just about signing a paper, or it is not just about that. It is about changing the identity. When did this country take this kind of a form? So you have identified this as a country. See, Pakistan was not there few years back. Where was Pakistan? Now it is there. So it's an identity. The moment it took an identity like that, everything changed for Pakistan. And those who are supposed to experience how to sell donkeys all went to Pakistan. What to do? Yeah, means you can't see, they had a fantastic economy. They made a mess out of it. We had a very horrible economy. We are now improving. How does that work? Identity changed. Now you see, one of the most important things which you should observe, there is a good astrology observation which you should do. The moment Narendra Modi became the leader, the identity of the country started changing. See, whether you like him or you don't like him doesn't matter. But if you observe, the way you see the country, the identity changed. Now, if you compare to previous Manmohan Singh's identity to the country, it's totally different. You cannot even imagine. So even that has added to the value of the original chart of India of 1947. Every time there is a new prime minister, his identity will be associated with the country because the leader. That's why Raja, king is very, very important. And that's why we associate with Surya again, because he is connected to the identity of the country. So it's not just about that moment, sign. It is about that moment. It's not about the action of only signing. It is about that moment when your identity changed from British rule to India. You don't call yourself as Bharat still now. We all in our... So the identity is still India, which doesn't mean anything, by the way. When your name itself doesn't mean anything, you can imagine how horrible the situation will be. They didn't know how to pronounce something and it became the name of our... if anybody knows what India means, please tell me. Some experts are there in language here. That's a problem. If we are able to identify ourselves with what Gurudev is telling every 2 hours or less, the effect horoscope will change. Acha. How do you come up with this 2 hours thing? Lagna, is it? Every moment you identify with what Gurudev. Why do you want to wait for 2 hours? Waiting for 2 hours is stupidity. You observe right now, you apply. Gurudev never said apply it tomorrow. He said apply now. So whatever Gurudev says, you have to apply right now. All sutras are to be applied right now, not after 2 hours. ठीक है, chalo. It's fun. Classes are fun. Then all of you go back to your regular chores. And while doing so, remember that there are multiple timelines going on. There are multiple spaces which are there. And also think of time, how it is spherical. And remember, today you are going and washing that one tumbler is changing the past and also the future. Okay. Chalo, with that we'll finish the class. What happened? Got hung. Can you hear me?
Yes, Anna, we can hear you.
I think my
The video is stuck.
anyway, we'll conclude for today and we'll catch up in the next class. Okay, pa. Jai Gurudev.
Very good.
Jai Gurudev, Anna.